wanted her back all that much?
Possibly. Or it could have been her own determination.
Oh yes, that is much more likely.
Would you say she was a woman of strong character?
I really don't know, Madam McCarthy. I never met her. Nor am I particularly interested in how and why she got here. I'm solely concerned with how to get her out of here as soon as possible.
I fully sympathize with you, Mrs. Condamine, and I promise you I will do all in my power to help you. But I'm afraid I cannot offer great hopes.
I always understood that there was a way of exercising ghosts, you know, some sort of a ritual.
You mean the old bell and book method?
Oh yes, I suppose.
Poppycock, Mrs. Condamine. That could have been effective in the old days of genuine religious belief, but not anymore. I believe the decline of faith in the spirit world has caused great concern.
That's it, you mean.
Of course, there was a time where a drop of holy water could have sent even a poltergeist scampering for color, but not anymore. Oh, son, don't talk.
There must be something you can do.
I can write a report for the psychical research people.
Yes, and will they be able to do anything?
I doubt it. They will send an investigation committee and do some wall tapping and mumbo jumbo, and you will have to go to London to testify.
Oh, this is too humiliating. It really is.
Oh, try not to upset yourself. Nothing can be achieved if you upset yourself.
Yes, it's easy for you to say. You don't seem to have the faintest realization of my position.
Try to look on the bright side.
The bright side? If your husband's first wife suddenly reappeared from the grave and came to live in a house with you, do you suppose that you could look on the bright side?
I resent your tone, Mrs. Condamine. I really do.
Well, you most decidedly have no reason to.
Kindly remember, I came here upon your own invitation.
On my husband's invitation?
I did what I was asked to do, which was to give a seance and get in touch with the unseen. I had no idea there were any ulterior motive mixed up with it.
Ulterior motive?
Well, your husband must have been very eager to get in touch with his former wife.
My husband was not eager to get in touch with anyone. He was merely doing it as research for this book he's writing about a homicidal medium.
Am I to understand I came here in the spirit of mockery?
No, you just wanted to learn some of the tricks of the trade.
Tricks of the trade! Ah! Insufferable! I believe we have nothing to say to one another anymore, Mrs. Condamine. Goodbye.
But, look here, Madam McCarthy, you can't just leave
Your
me.
attitude from the outset has been most unpleasant, Mrs. Condamine. I found some of your remarks discourteous to the extreme, and I would like to add, without umbrage, that if you and your husband were foolish enough to tamper with the unseen in the spirit of mockery, then whatever has happened to you is your own fault. And to coin a phrase, as far as I'm concerned, you can stew in your own juice.
Damn, damn, damn. Leonora has gone to see her friend Barbara for the first time in 18 years. But Leonora does have ulterior motives. He's a nice man.
Tim's a dear. He's extremely brilliant, too. Chris thinks the world of him.
Oh, he must be wonderful. Who? Chris?
Yes. A little frightening, then, I should think.
Oh no, he's not in the least bit frightening. I mean, he gets a bit abstracted every now and then when he's working too hard.
Oh, dear Barbara. How nice this is. How long ago is it?
18 years. I'm 35 now. I left long before you did.
Yes, I remember missing you dreadfully.
It was after the war when you went to America.
Yes, just after. Father left Brazil in 1918, and at the beginning of 1919 we went to Washington.
And When were you married?
Several years after. It was a long while ago.
And was he really such a darling?
It was all horrid. He was much older than me. Very rich, fortunately. And that's all there was to it, really.
And you never wanted to marry again?
I wanted to once, but it wasn't possible. Everything went wrong.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. It was a long while ago now, anyhow. I travelled a little bit and got over it.
Well, how long have you been in England?
2 weeks. I've got a darling little house. When will you come and dine with me?
Whenever you like.
And your husband, Chris?
I'm sure he'd love to, but it all depends, you see. You can never count on him.
I am longing to meet him.
Oh, he'll probably come in soon for a moment.
Is it never longer than a moment?
Oh, yes. Not quite as bad as that, but being married to eminence requires a little forbearance, especially if that eminence is dear to you.
No holidays.
Yes. We had a full month last year. We went to Italy, Como first, and then down to Venice. It was lovely. I mean, he got a bit restive during the last weeks, but I persuaded him to stay at the court.
Oh, I should be jealous, I think. Jealous? Well, you were always better balanced than I was, less emotional.
Oh, my dear, it would be tiresome to go on being emotional after 12 years of marriage.
I don't really want that.
You come on, one more. I will.
Tell me, what is it that he does exactly?
He's only one of the most famous psychiatrists in the world, dear.
Be patient with me. I know that. What does he do, though? It's nothing to do with bone section, is it?
No, nothing whatever. You're thinking of osteopathy.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking of psychiatrist. Just another word.
Chiropractor.
Yes.
You'd better not mention that to Chris. He does not approve of chiropractors at all.
Well, what's a psychiatrist then?
Someone who cures diseases of the mind.
Oh, inhibition and repression and all that sort of thing.
Yes, all that sort of thing.
How exciting.
Yes, more interesting than exciting.
Barbara, you have a superior look in your eyes, and I resent it deeply.
I'm sorry, dear.
Really, I know I'm idiotic, but it's rather tactless of you to remind me of it. Now, how does he start his treatment? Just a series of embarrassing questions.
Frightfully embarrassing.
Yes, I read about it in books. You have to remember sinister little episodes from your childhood. Falling in love with the cook or being scared by a goat, and then you have to determine the cook or sublimate the goat or something. And then you go away completely cured and sleep like a top.
I see that your ignorance was only an affectation. You have the whole thing in a nutshell.
And what about himself? Does he know all about himself?
How do you mean?
Well, right from the beginning. Is everything cut, dried, and accounted for?
I expect so.
And what about you? Does he have a chart of you hanging above his bed?
He doesn't need a chart of me, Lenora.
Oh dear. Something in your manner tells me I've gone too far. I'm really sorry I didn't mean to. Don't be cross.
I'm not in the least cross.
Well, I'm sure he'd know all about me in a moment, wouldn't he? The very second he clapped eyes on me.
Certainly.
Do all his patients fall in love with him?
No, practically always.
Don't you hate that?
You're funny, Lenora.
Nicely funny.
Charmingly funny.
Oh, I am longing to meet him, though, so do tell him to hurry along. I shall have to go in a minute. He hasn't got a mustache.
No.
A beard?
No beard.
Is he tall or is he short?
Short. And not exactly fat. Let's say a little very little chance of exercising these days. Still, he does his best with those things in the bathroom.
What things?
Oh, you know, they're attached to the wall and you gasp and strain and they snap back again. He also has a rowing machine.
Oh, yes, I've seen those in gymnasiums on ships.
He finds it very effective.
You're lying to me, aren't you, Barbara?
Yes, Nora.
I suppose he's 8 feet tall and totally bewitching.
If you care for long black moustaches, yes.
Well, I've made up my mind to fall in love with him on sight.
He's quite used to that.
You're positively smug about him, aren't you, Barbara? So tell me, do you really?
I love him very much.
How? And does he love you?
Really, Lenora?
I know I'm behaving badly, do forgive me. But I would like just another little sip if there's any left in the sugar.
It's practically Cap is nursing Mr. Sloane's wound in his leg, but things begin to become slightly amorous.
I never realized he was antagonistic to you, Mr. Sloane. Perhaps he's jealous. We were getting on so well. Is it hurting you?
I get bandage.
Yes, a little.
It's blood running on your settee. You have a stain. I can see it coming.
This will do. It's a piece of material my brother brought back. It's a good stuff. I was intending to make a blouse, but there is not enough.
What's he doing with that dell? Has he gone to Swansea for it?
What are you doing? Dada! Get that pig. You've done enough damage for one day. Make yourself scarce. And don't be eating anything out there. What a lovely pair of shoes you've got.
Oh, I think I'm going to spew. No, I'll be alright.
I wonder, Mr. Sloane, if you take your trousers off, I hope you don't think there is anything behind the request. I expect you guessed. As much before I ask. If you lift up, I will pull them up. That's right. Where is it then?
Here.
He attacked you from the behind. If you'll ask me, there's only a deep cut. I don't think it will require outside assistance. Don't be embarrassed. Mr. Sloane, I be a grinning around with envy, and that's the truth. Until I was 15, I was more familiar with Africa than my own body. That's why I'm so pliable. Just a thing for the germs. You the ski on you like a princess. Better than on those stars you can see dancing about on the telly. I like a lad with smooth body. Isn't it strange that the hairs on your legs
Should be dark.
Huh?
Attractive though.
Dark?
Yes, you've been blonde.
Oh, yes.
Nature is a funny thing.
Who's that?
Keep your voice down. It's probably her from the shops. I will not answer it. She's only got one subject for talk.
She'll hear you.
No, I don't want her in here. She tells everybody her business, and she would find me this predicament. She would tell all sorts of things.
What about Pop?
You won't answer it. Her daughters are involved in the court case at the moment. Tells every details. I suffer as she will come. Oh, Mr. Sloan, if only I'd been born without ears. Is that bandage too tight?
No,
I wouldn't want to restrict your circulation.
it's okay.
I will sponge this. And there is a nick in the material. I will fix it. This drawer is my medicine cabinet, dear. If you need an occasional aspirin, help yourself. I've been doing my washing today, and I